Hey guys, welcome to AI Techies and my name is Arvind. If you're watching my videos in my channel for the first time, please subscribe and support me. So let's get started with a new topic today called CSS. So generally what do you mean by CSS is, so it's a cascaded style sheet. The abbreviation we call it as cascaded style sheet. So why we use CSS? Generally to style HTML elements, we go for CSS. There are n number of CSS properties and values. In that, how you gonna declare is it's just matters. So we can declare in a two ways. So there are internal CSS you can declare, and the other one is external CSS. By using internal and external CSS, you can declare the style elements. So what do you mean by internal and external? So let's get started with some example. You can get much clarity about that. So let's take an editor. So I'm using an editor called Sublime. So I have just took one folder CSS. I'll save this file like s1.html. Let's take a basic HTML format. So in the body I'm going to declare some h1 tag. Let's take some content. Welcome to AR Techies and I'm from Hyderabad. So this is the matter I'm taking. What do you mean by internal CSS is you are going to declare the CSS properties in the head section of the same HTML element. Say in the same HTML page you are going to declare the CSS properties. That is called internal CSS. So generally you need to declare internal CSS in the head section. Head section at the closing tag. Before the closing tag you can start by using attribute called style tag. So type is equals to text.css, then only going to consider oh this is CSS properties and values. Let's take here. So here I have h1. This is how you are going to declare. So this is called selector and you need to declare here. So the declaration tag, this is a basic syntax how you gonna declare. So selector name, and inside the flower basis you can declare the declaration. So h1 is the selector and the declaration is I want the text color should be red, something like red. Let's open this one, s1.html. so welcome to edX and I am from Hyderabad, and the text color you can see, right? So it's red. Now this is internal. If you want the background color here, you can add n number of properties for this h1. Background color I'll take it as light gray. Make sure to close with semicolon here. Just refresh it. So the background color that it's changed. If you want the total body should be in the light gray, then take body here. So this is a selector and the declaration is background color is light gray. Just refresh it. So the total body of the HTML page got changed to light gray. So this is how you're gonna use internal CSS. Now let's see an example of how external CSS works. So just cut it, just remove it. So external CSS is something like there is another file you need to extend. s1.css is my file name. I'll paste it here. So the same property. If you want you can change this to green, something like violet, right? I'm going to take. Okay, so this is s1.css which I didn't mention here. So to link s1.html and s1.css we need one tag called link tag. So relevant style sheet CSS, because it's a CSS product. So you need to give the file name. H-reference is the file source, the address of the file, s1.css, because it's in the same. If this file is another folder, something called HTML folder, then like this you need to give. So it's the same folder, you need not to declare anything here, you can declare the file name directly. Now let's refresh it. Oh, same is coming, but everything is same. The text color is green and the background color is something violet or pink, and the body color is green. So this is working. Let's comment out this once. You can find whether it's working clearly or not. Comment out. Let's just refresh this. So it's a normal HTML element I am using. Yeah, this is how we are going to practice internal and HTML, internal and external CSS. So basically, for a very good practice, most of the people use external CSS, and you can the readability of the code is very much easier when you take external CSS. Now if I have more than other properties, like if I have a paragraph tag here, and I need only some of the HTML elements to be highlighted. For example, if I take the same like this, let's just refresh it. So all these are highlighting, but I don't need all of this. Now I want to highlight this one, first, second and third HTML elements. I want to highlight this. I don't want all these elements to be highlighted. So what do you do? We go for CSS selectors. So generally, what do you mean by CSS selectors? CSS selector is something like you can select a particular HTML element and you can highlight that one only. There are some two types are there for CSS selectors. One is ID selector, and other one is class selectors. So how you are going to use ID and class selectors? Let's take an example directly. You can find out easily. Let me take not this one. Let me take a paragraph tag. It looks simple. Let me take something red. Background color, I'll remove it. Now paragraph tag. So this is CSS selector properties with ID selector, something I'm taking a content. Just let's refresh here. So the background color is affected, but the paragraph tag is a simple HTML element. Now I want to highlight this P tag. So I will take ID. So something any name you can give, like P1 paragraph 1, or you can give something like C1. Any name you can declare here. So I'll just take, it's a paragraph 1, right? So I'll take a paragraph 1. Now just refresh, no problem. You need to declare this ID. You need to mention this ID, a CSS property. You need to mention here. You need to declare a CSS property for that. So to declare a CSS ID selector, you need to give hash sign before that. So para 1. So ID, if you are going to declare a CSS selector ID, then you need to have this hash symbol at the starting by using hash, and after that ID name. So ID name is para 1 and because it's an ID, so use hash notation. Now I want to highlight the text color. So text color, something like green. I am taking green, and background color is red. Now let's refresh it. So text color is green and background color is red. Now let's take like something. Let's remove this paragraph tag. Save. Just refresh it. So the property that is not assigned to this is an ID selector. This is not an ID selector. So it's just normally a P tag. This is how you can declare only particular elements. So I want ID I'm declaring here. Now this one I am going to declare. So using the ID CSS selector, you can highlight or you can style a particular HTML elements. not only id, you can use one more css selector, that is class. Let's take something h1 tag. So this is from css class, like class attribute, right? class h1 I'm taking, so to define a css class selector, you have to use, so what is the class name is class, so class h1 is my class name. Now I need to write the properties, but the css won't understand which property or which css selector it is. Is that id, is that a class? So id you need to define with hash, but what about class? You need to define a notation with dot. So dot indicates that it's a class of the css selector. Now class h1, so h1 is right. So background color, just I'm taking something yellow, and font family is Vertana, or you can set to Arial. So just these are the few properties I'm taking. Just refresh. So this is from css. So what did I put? The h1 text background color is yellow. Yes, absolutely, it's coming. And the font family is Arial. So this font family and this font family are totally different, right? And this is how it's gonna work. And for h1, for all h1s, the color is red. I have mentioned for all h1s the color is red. So this is a h1, so the text color got red. So if I just comment it out or just delete that, the css, it's a just normal color by default. So this is where how we are going to declare id selectors and class selectors. And what about this comments, css comments? How you can comment. Now I just deleted some code, I'll just get it back. So if you comment css, use / a star and star hash. So this is how you're gonna comment. So previously I deleted the code just to define you, just to tell you the next step, right? This is now, if you refresh, nothing highlighted, nothing got changed. So this is how you're gonna declare multi-line comment and single line comment. This is the same this is the same tag you're gonna use for css comments. In the next video I'll cover css colors, borders, margins, and in the next after two tutorials I will take a one big project by using HTML and CSS. We'll create a one new website which looks really very good. So I'll take an example with a very good restaurant or a home tutorial point, something. We'll declare how the HTML and CSS we can use for a website. So thank you, please do like my video.